Good morning and welcome back to the adventures of Matt Cananthia. Today's video is going to be a quick video. It's one of those things again where I've looked online to get a solution and the information is a bit thin on the ground and I've had to work it out for myself. So what I've decided to do is make a little video on it for other people who probably had a similar problem. So in a minute I'll spin you around. I'm going to give you a quick bit of background on this vehicle and then we'll get on with the job at hand. Okay, so for those of you out there who aren't familiar with this vehicle, this is a 2006 Land Rover Freelander. It's a TD4 and it's a Mark 1 second generation. So I bought this from the UK originally, drove it back here as an import just before Brexit. Wasn't what the owner says it was, same old story. But I got it back and it needed a new clutch. Anyway, I refitted the new clutch. Yes, you heard right, refitted the new clutch. I originally took it to a Spanish local garage, who then proceeded to fit the clutch plate in the wrong way round. And then instead of actually just assembling the clutch, which is what I normally do, and testing it, then proceeded to assemble a whole vehicle before they even tested the clutch to see if it's working properly. This is a real pig to change a clutch in this. You have to transfer box out, you have to take all the subframe out and everything. So in the end, I took it back off them, brought it back up to the house, drove it without a clutch, and I decided I'd do the work myself, which I've now done, and had various other problems along the way as well. I had to recondition the turbo, put a new turbine in it. I had to recondition the steering rack because it had a blown seal, and anything else I could find because it was all to bits, bits of corrosion and that, and damage under the seal. I repaired all that along the way. So, I'm not going to lie. It's been a real pig to do. It's fought me every inch of the way, every single thing, even though it's not a particularly hard vehicle to work on. I mean, if you look, it's, there's plenty of room down the sides, round the back. It was originally this engine out of a BMW, not this particular engine, but originally it's an engine that Land Rover have borrowed from BMW, which was a rear-wheel drive vehicle, and it does show. You've got pipes running from one side of the engine to the other, wheeling around where they're having to, adapt it to fit. But other than a few little niggles, it's not a bad fit, and it is quite easy to work on. But like I say, it's been a real pig and fought me every inch of the way. So it's no great surprise that the track rod end is not playing either. So I'll just swing around, take you around to this. So here's the track rod end here, and as you can see, well, you can't see actually, it's not loose. But what's happening is I've tightened it up, and it's not jamming tight enough in here for the whole shaft not to spin. It's a tapered shaft, if people who don't know, and as you tighten it up it gets tighter and tighter into the hole, and then you could tighten the nut right up. Now normally on most of my other vehicles and any other vehicles I've had, it isn't really an issue, because instead of this coming off the front strut here, it normally comes off somewhere at the back of the front, off the wheel hub assembly here, and it feeds in from underneath. And when it feeds in from underneath, all you have to do is put a trolley jack under a block of wood, lightly jack it up a little bit, until it bites enough for you to tighten the nut up. Well, obviously we can't do that on this side because this feeds in from the top and it's hard to get pressure on this top here. So I've had a little think about it overnight of potential solutions, and this is what I've come up with. Okay, so what we've got here, this is a ball joint separator. You can use it for track rod ends or on lower ball joints. This is a cheaper job. I think it's 14 or 16 euros from Amazon, so nice good solid little tool for that. I only usually use this as a last resort because no matter how careful you are, you normally end up splitting the rubber gator trying to separate the joint. But obviously if you can't do it any other way, you've got no choice but to use this. Now this would normally go in here between the rubber here and then push on the shaft here and push to separate the joint. What we're going to try and do is use this in reverse and turn it round, slide it on like that, to tighten up this point here. Tighten up a bit more of the spanner, and hopefully this will push this rod down into the hole more and lock it off. Okay, so the plan is we're going to tighten this up in a minute so that it locks off into here. I'm first going to take this nut back off because even though it's locking nut, I felt it was a bit tight, so I'm going to inspect the threads, and if they look okay then we'll try and tighten it back on again with some oil. Okay, and that's off. So I'm going to quick inspect of these threads. If everything looks okay, I'm going to put some oil in it and we'll try and retighten it. Okay, so the threads all look okay, so I'm just going to squirt a little bit of oil in here. And we'll see if that'll tighten up. Obviously there's a point where we're going to have to take this out to finish it off, but hopefully by that time it will have bitten hard enough inside this joint here for it to be able to continue warming up. Okay, a little bit of oil seems to be helping it along. Okay, so I've got the nut up as far as I can, and now this is starting to get in the way. So I think I'm just going to try and tighten this up a little bit more, just to put a little bit more pressure down on it to make sure before I take it off. Okay, that's pretty tight now, so I'm going to slacken it off, and hopefully the tool will come back out again. Okay, so that's off, that's tightened it up, and see if that's actually pushed it in hard enough. Let's try a little bit more oil. Quick check, that seems to be going up. And there you have it. Job done. Okay, so there you have it. This is the solution to putting tension on a track rod end, which inserts into the hole from above. It does mean you have to buy the tool, but at 14-16 euros, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's a tool you can use over and over again, and certainly a useful addition to your toolbox. So I think all that remains is to thank you for watching. Hope it helps some of you out there. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.